Looks like Keir Starmer is revealed to be untrustworthy, and now he is panicking when it comes to immigration against Nigel Farage. Before we get into this article, I'm so sorry, this is a second take. My OBS crashed again. Now, if you see me do this, that means I'm checking my OBS because for some reason it crashes. I have no idea. So it was surely intended as a gesture of his sorrow at her enforced departure from the government. Instead of sending the typed letter to a resigned minister, Sir Keir Starmer chose his fountain pen yesterday to bid farewell to Angela Rayner. But unfortunately for the Prime Minister, his 286-word handwritten missive revealed rather more. According to the forensic handwritten expert Ruth Myers, the stroke of his pen shows a man who can be untrustworthy, two-faced, and subject to mood swings. Aiming to be the top dog and competitive, he can also be easily angered at times and likes to control. Now, Mr. Meyer did receive a handwritten copy at least, which he wrote in longhand how he was very sad that her time as Deputy PM and Labour Deputy Leader had ended in this way. A handwritten expert observed that this was a man with poise, cool temperament who found it difficult to express his feelings. Ms. Meyer said many introverts find it easier to voice their feelings by handwritten word. I'll just say it. Sir Keir Starmer came across as someone who faced problems without losing control but was also emotionally aloof. It's hard to tell what they're saying, folks. Okay, I'm gonna put it right here. I'm certain this is much big enough for you guys to read in my screen right next to me. Pause the video if you want to read it because I'm not certain what he's writing. It's hard to tell. I know right here is the Labour government. I know this one say Labour because it's hard to tell what it says. Alarmingly, based on his handwriting, he was also subject to mood swing and had a tendency to be evasiveness. Ms. Myers concluded that he communicates, but is also cautious and can be evasive, shown by the tucked-in hooks within circled letters. In particular, the open D's at the base of the character indicates unexpressed hostility. The erratic spacing, emotional turmoil, or suggests it will be emotional turmoil, although outwardly amendable, I can't even say, I'm so sorry. He is in reality a loner. However, his hook D reflect an untrustworthy individual, two-faced, and duplication. Now, here's another one. This is from, they were all published by, I don't know if Daily Mail has anything to do with it, but that's besides the point. According to this, Keir Starmer is poised to take a harder line on immigration to ward off the threat of Nigel Farage following a panic relaunch of his Labour government. The Prime Minister made sweeping change to his ministerial, let's just say to his minister's ranks following Angela Rayner's resignation on Friday. She departed as Deputy PM, House of Secretary, and Labour's Deputy Leader after her tearful admission that she didn't get paid enough tax on the purchase of her new flat. Really? That's new? Among his changes, Sir Keir Starmer has switched Yvette Cooper from House Secretary to Foreign Secretary and replaced her in the Home Office Shabana Mahmood. The PM also oversees a clean-out of junior ministers at the Home Office as he puts tackling the small boats crisis at the center of his plan to combat Reform UK. Sir Keir Starmer's tougher stance on the Channel migrants will reportedly include an overhaul of human rights law, moving asylum seekers from hotels to military barracks, as well as reforms consistent pool lead. The PM also witnessed records level of small boats arriving this year and a summer of protests outside the asylum hotel. A cabinet minister admitted Labour would need to do something that make us feel I have no idea what that means, to stop the advance of Mr. Farage's party. Meanwhile, Ms. Mahmood is expected to announce the use of Minister of Defense sites to house people following the demonstration outside migrant accommodation. That could be her. The scale of the challenge facing Ms. Mahmood, former Justice Secretary. This is what happens when you put female in higher position where they don't know. I don't know if Ms. Mahmood have experience in the justice system. In her new Home Office role was illustrated on Saturday, her first full day in the job. As estimate, 1,000 people arrived in the UK by small boats over the course of the day, and French officials said 24 people were rescued while trying to cross the channel. Dozens of asylum hotels are expected to close after they become a focal point of several protests in recent months. Ministers are close to agreeing with returns deal with Germany, having already secured one with France, the Telegraph reported. One government sources said that nothing is off the table for Ms. Mahmood as she assumed her new brief, which puts her in charge of borders and asylum policy. She's previously signaling a willingness to look at human rights reform within domestic law. A Labour insider said that Ms. Mahmood was likely to want to overhaul the European Convention of Human Rights, the ECHR. They claim she would be far more radical than her predecessor, Ms. Cooper, and would start with the unthinkable and work backwards. Mr. Farage used reforms conferences in Birmingham this weekend to pledge his party they will stop the boats within 2 weeks of passing new legislation if they win power. He vowed to quit ECHR and deport 600,000 asylum seekers within 5 years of a reform government. Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch, I'm so sorry I butchered that name, is expected to make similar pledges to leave ECHR at her party's conference next month. As part of Sir Keir Starmer's clear-out of the Home Office, ex-Border Minister Angela Eagle and ex-Policy Minister Diana Johnson were shifted to other departments. Ex-Industry Minister Sarah Jones is now Policy Minister, a brief she held in opposition as part of Ms. Mahmood's New Look team, along with Mike Tapp, the Dover MP from Labour's 2024 intake, and Alex Norris. The new minister will drive forward our growth agenda with relentless focus, according to Keir Starmer. Let's see how that works. Phase 2 of this government is to deliver, and this is the government that will renew Britain and deliver the changes people voted for. Chief Secretary to the Prime Minister, Darren Jones, earlier denied that the government is in crisis, or was in crisis, but really, if the government is in crisis, why they're facing protests? He insisted that Keir Starmer has now in the strongest term in place around the cabinet table following Ms. Rayner's departure. He ruled out the prospect of an early general election amid opposition claim that upheaval could open up splits within the Labour and collapse of the Prime Minister's authority. Early general election, the only way that happened is King Charles approve it. But then again, there's petitions for it. When there's a lot of petitions, probably more than 500k, there will be a general election. Mr. Jones also dismissed suggestion that the reshuffle could delay the PM's self-described phase 2 of the government by moving senior figures to unfamiliar briefs. It is not instability, I'm so sorry, I can't even say that word. As the outcome that we deliver are the same, Ms. Jones. I'm so sorry. He rejected the idea that Ms. Cooper had been moved out of the Home Office because she was failing to control immigration, adding she would be brilliant in her role as Foreign Secretary. But Kim Johnson, the Labour MP of Liverpool Riverside, said the reshuffle looked like moving deck chairs on Titanic and creating a London elite. The Labour Party is a broad church. This is certainly not represented with this shuffle. Again, sorry I have to do this take 2. OBS crashed for some reason, but that's besides the point. Honestly, folks, when they say that when this person, who is it? Darren Jones says he rejected the idea of an early general election. The only way the UK election happens if the King, aka King Charles, approves it. Because right now, King will have no other choice. It's protest after protest. They're going to continue to do it because the UK government is so weak. Look, the one word that Donald Trump said is enough to convince people to keep up the pressure. Just one word. Honestly, again, hopefully, look, how come my country, Malaysia, doesn't have this kind of problem, okay? Just recently, they detained another 700 plus immigration, okay? I'm not joking, they did. How come my country doesn't have, or any Asian country, they never have a problem when it comes to illegal immigration? For my country, the one obstacle that prevents them from being captured or searched is of course the jungle, the Malay jungle. Because remember, people can hide from the jungle forever, or in this case for years, because you can't hide them forever, and they will have to come out of the jungle and either buy food, get a job, or even get some housing, get some clothes. And sooner or later, the immigration officers and units will capture them. And that's the biggest obstacle for my country and other Asian countries, because the jungle is still a dangerous place. Anyone can hide there for months, maybe for years.
I was getting a little nervous there. Thanks for not letting me down.
You watched my back. I wouldn't be worth spit if I didn't watch yours.
Fair enough. Let's head back to base. Word is they're starting the full-scale evacuation tomorrow. That means we're gonna be busy.
Leave a like and subscribe if you want gaming news, gaming theories, or you just want to see me play games. Visit my first, third, and fourth channel up here or link in the description.